Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Convos with Cait. We are back and better than ever. I just want to get right into it. Today's conversation is going to be about why aren't people believing women? Why does it feel like there is such a war on women, and that when a woman comes forward with proof and evidence and these allegations come about or legal action is taken, why does the internet come up in an uproar, against the woman, and there's smear campaigns and hate trains. So that's just something I kind of want to get into today. I do want to apologize for my absence. It has been a hefty couple of weeks to a month, I would say. I started a new semester. I lost one of my grandmothers, so we traveled to South Carolina to just honor her memory, go to her funeral, and just reflect on the fact that she lived a very long, beautiful life. She had 12 children, married for about 65 years. And I think to make it to 90 years old is such a blessing in itself. And I know she probably was ready to go. So, yeah, went through that. And then 2 weeks after that, celebrated Mother's Day, surprised my other grandma in North Carolina for Mother's Day weekend, and she was ecstatic. Like, the look on her face and just like the smile that she had, I'm really happy that I got to do that. And she was just over the moon. I mean, she even made the cutest Facebook post about it. So yeah, I was really happy to do that. And again, I've started another semester. I'm in grad school. I've got 3 classes going now at this point, and then internship starting in the fall. So that's what life has been. But let's get right into the Convos with Cait topic of the week. Now, when we see proof and bruises and textual evidence, why do we still not believe women? Why are women still having the hate trains and the smear campaigns? Or why is there always a justification online and in these comments and all of these think pieces, which I'm sure it's contradicting because this is my think piece. But there are all these think pieces as to why a woman would come up with an allegation to bring a certain man down or to like ruin his career. When in reality, we need to be holding men accountable. These are scary circumstances that could happen to any of us. And if a woman can come forward with her truth and be ridiculed and just not believed, what does that mean for us? For us, just regular women who will maybe even feel discouraged to come forward with situations that happened with them. And then if a woman who is in such a high status, such as a celebrity, is going to get ridiculed in that manner or not believed, what does that mean for us? So that's just kind of where I'm at with it. It's starting to feel like believing women is not the norm. It seems like we need evidence on evidence on evidence, and then even with that, the evidence still isn't enough. Again, so if a famous woman comes forward with evidence like this, what does that mean for us? That's just, and as women, I feel like we all should stick together and believe one another when circumstances like this happen, because it could be any of us. But even in the comments I'm seeing, it's a lot of women as well too. And it's super disheartening, and it's scary because it really sometimes feels like a bit of a war on women. Another angle of that is why there's such a high rate of femicide and why dating is so difficult nowadays. It's terrifying. So just to get into the specifics of why I'm even getting into this topic, all over every social media outlet I use, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, the past week has been heavy. Tory Lanez news always results in the slander of Megan Thee Stallion. Halle Bailey comes forward with pretty much incriminating evidence towards the father of her child, abusing her and having some, in my opinion, some narcissistic tendencies as a parent and co-parent, DDG. And then for the third one, the P. Diddy RICO trial is going on right now, and Cassie testified last week. And for example, with that, I mean, we've seen the video of P. Diddy completely dragging Cassie across the hotel hallways and kicking her like she's not even a human. And if he would do that to her in the middle of a hotel hallway, can you even imagine what was going on behind closed doors? And we have heard a fraction of what's going on behind closed doors throughout this trial when she testified last week. And to have to relive such traumatic and, I don't even want to say humiliating, but such traumatic experiences, especially she's 8.5 months pregnant right now, to have to relive that is mortifying. And my heart completely goes out to her, and it just sounds like she was in such a vulnerable and scary position to be in, because abusers do make it hard to leave. I mean, look at what happened when she tried to leave and what happened to her in the hotel hallway. And he was so much older than her when they met. It's horrifying. And it's disheartening that people think so surface level, that they could say, for example, a lot of the things that I've been seeing in the past week, there's been so many comments like, oh, she could have just left, she wanted the money. It's not that easy. A majority of the time when a person, especially a woman, leaves their abuser, they end up being killed. And that's just the harsh reality of it. And I'm sure there probably were some points that Cassie may have had that feeling too. Even, for example, with Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. Even with a court conviction, people still believe Tory should be free and the case should be appealed and whatever the case may be. And they have these millions and millions of think pieces about why Megan would lie and that her best friend did it. And of course, they're going to try to pin it on the other woman in the circumstance rather than the man who should be held accountable for his actions. And not to mention, Megan Thee Stallion is not even the one that pressed charges against Tory Lanez. The state of California did because he had a firearm and he wasn't supposed to. But that's neither here nor there. But a lot of people don't even want to think about that. They just want to still turn his conviction into a smear campaign for her. And the things that woman has probably had to read about herself or go through, I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine being a public figure that is constantly being tormented and disrespected and called the worst types of names and said just awful things about her. It's horrifying. I don't know. I feel like I'm on a tangent in this video, and it's because I am kind of scatterbrained about the circumstances, because my brain can't compute how someone could dehumanize a person like that. I mean, Tory Lanez was constantly mocking her, and he thought he was untouchable, and so did all of his fans and things of that sort. And then once he was convicted, it just went up a notch. And I truly just cannot fathom what that woman has to go through on a daily basis. And I hope and pray that she is healing and in some good therapy, because that is tough. It's just scary because nobody wants to believe a woman until it's too late. Until something happens that nobody can take back, nothing can come back from it. And unfortunately, that's just the reality in legal circumstances, internet circumstances. I mean, even if a woman goes to a police station for a restraining order, sometimes it's not even granted with enough proof or evidence. And then next thing you know, the woman is gone. I mean, what do we do? How do we keep ourselves safe? And how do we, as a society, come together to make women's safety a priority rather than the man's career and his status and whatever the case? Because right now it's feeling like we are, well, not me, but y'all are making the man's career and his, what is the word I'm looking for? His reputation. It's like his reputation is the priority over the woman's safety. And there's so many people who protect abusers. And a lot of them, I've noticed, you're giving abuser tendencies too. So of course you're going to protect an abuser because you probably are one yourself. I don't have a big platform at all. But I just feel like as a woman, and especially a woman who has a podcast called Convos with Cait, this is a convo that needs to be discussed. I am just a little, I've just been super disheartened and honestly angry. Very angry when I read the comments. And I shouldn't have done this, but I scrolled down DJ Academic's Twitter. And oh my gosh, the amount of woman bashing that I saw, it's crazy. It is really insane. And he has millions of fans and viewers who repost and agree and leave the most egregious comments under these videos with just the nastiest things about all of the women that I've talked about in this video. Cassie, Halle, Meg, and more, honestly. And I was like, this is what is feeding a lot of these men's timelines and For You pages, and they believe it. So of course, when you're constantly feeding this misinformation to people, they're absorbing it. And they think that, oh, okay, if I, listen to DJ Academics, which who's listening to him? Unfortunately, too many people. But if I listen to him, then he's got to be right because everybody else does. And it's like, what is actually going on? Or who's this Aiden Ross guy that is like at the forefront of slandering women constantly? Like, as soon as the news broke about DDG and Halle's restraining order, DDG was already on live with Aiden Ross. And he immediately just jumps to, oh, it's fake, and this is a good guy, and blah, blah, blah. And then Kai Cenat bringing him on to be a professor at Streamer University. Why are we giving abusers a platform? And why are we, I'm having a brain fart. Why are we giving them a platform? And why are we giving them just the time of day period? With that being said, who do we really protect? Are we protecting the survivors or are we protecting the abusers? Because right now, I'm noticing a huge pattern of protecting abusers. And I really, really, really hate when people say, well, what about the women who lie? Statistically speaking, only 2 to 10% of false accusations exist. That is a very small percentage of women who are out here actively lying on men. And we're not saying that those women are not to be held accountable, because they are. But the point is, we cannot keep bringing that up when only 2 to 10% of false accusations exist. So let's let that narrative go. Men have the benefit of the doubt every time. That is a luxury of theirs. They always have the benefit of the doubt. They always want to act like they're the victims, when unfortunately, they get the benefit of the doubt first. We see it all over social media in all of these cases. And this is not me bashing men. This is me bashing men who are fans of abusers and justify their actions. These are the men that I'm speaking to. If you don't fall under that category, there's no reason for you to be offended. But if you do, then be offended. I don't care. The dehumanization of Black women when it comes to abuse is absolutely disgusting. We have to, in some way, shape, or form, figure out how to overcome this as a society, because it's getting scary. And I recently saw a TikTok that a man, oh my gosh, I need to find it. And if I find it, I will link it or share a screenshot. But he said something that really stuck out to me. And it was that Black women are not the ones who are responsible for the downfall of a Black man. And that seems to be the narrative that a lot of people are trying to go with right now. And none of us win when we're going with that narrative. Absolutely none of us. And all this shows me is that regardless if you're famous or not, you're not guaranteed to be safe. And you're not guaranteed to be believed. I guess the questions that I have for you guys is, what does it take for a woman to fully be believed? because we could have all of the proof in the world. A conviction could be set. There could be evidence and documents, and women still aren't believed. So my question for you guys, especially you guys who don't believe these women, if you would even come across this video, what more do you need to believe a woman? And I don't think it's enough to say, we just say, I support women. I think we absolutely have to show up and support women, even when it's uncomfortable. Even when the man is famous, even if you're a fan of the man. There are artists that I have had to be completely turned off from their music. For example, Kanye West, or lately, unfortunately, even Drake sometimes, because I don't agree with him posting the change.org petition of Tory Lanez. We have to sit with that discomfort of, okay, just because I liked this artist doesn't mean that I enjoy you as a person at this point. And I don't have to support you, and I don't have to listen to your music. Because if you support abusers, I don't want to support you. Even if the proof isn't perfect, or if it is perfect, we have to fight for women to be believed. And I just feel like I've been going on a tangent in this video, but it's just something that was weighing heavy on my heart. So I guess that's just what I want to leave us off with. I'm at like 20 minutes of rambling at this point. And I don't even know how far you guys are going to get into this, but there's just a lot to be said about what women go through, especially when they come forward and they're brave enough to come forward, because that is something that takes a lot of courage. And they should be proud of themselves. But I'm sure with the media and fans and so much speculation and accusations about lies, that sometimes they probably regret even coming forward in the first place. And that's a really scary thought. So I just want us to kind of sit with that and think about what can we do to make this fight for women a little bit easier, and what can we do to advocate for women when they come forward with allegations of abuse and assault. How can we come together and figure out a way for there not to be such a divide between so many men and women? Because I just feel like the division right now between us as a whole is scary. And I just wish that we could figure out the root of it and get through it somehow. But I don't know, guys. I've just been really disheartened, really just losing a little hope in humanity based off of the things that I've read. Some of them I don't even want to repeat. I don't even want to acknowledge the disgusting things I've read about, Cassie and Halle and Meg over the past few weeks. So yeah, I just pray for my fellow sisters and my peers and all of you watching, and everybody stay safe. Do what you can to support women. Don't even ignore the egregious comments, but if you can, try to educate people and they listen, great. But if not, that says more about their character than you. So yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say today. I will be back with another episode. Let me know some things you would want me to talk about, or some people you would want to see me talk to. I do have a couple of people in mind, but still getting used to trying to figure out everyone's schedule to try to get together for a video with one another. So yes, thank you all for watching. Thank you for being a part of Convos with Cait and bearing with me for episode 3. And I hope you all have a wonderful week, and bye-bye.